As David nears the end of his reign, he gathers all Israel leaders for one final address. This chapter captures David's heart as a father and a man of God, passing the torch to Solomon and reminding the nation that obedience matters more than power. The first part of this chapter covers David assembles Israel's leaders. David calls together all the officials of Israel, the commanders, judges, officers, and stewards. He stands before them and says, I had it in my heart to build a house as a resting place for the ark of the covenant of the Lord. But God said, You are not built a house for my name, because you are a man of war and have shed blood. David's desire was holy, but God had another plan, reminding us that pure motives don't always mean it's our assignment. The second part of the chapter covers God chooses Solomon. God chose Solomon, David's son, to build the temple. Your son Solomon is the one who will build my house and my courts, for I have chosen him to be my son, and I will be his father. If Solomon remains faithful, his kingdom will last forever. The promise is conditional. Obedience secures blessing. David stresses to Solomon that God's covenant depends on faithfulness. The third part of the chapter covers David's charge to the assembly and to Solomon. Before all the people, David urged them, Keep and seek out all the commands of the Lord your God, so that you may possess this good land. Then he turns to Solomon directly. Be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous, and do the work. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord God, my God, is with you. David's final words echo Joshua's. Courage and obedience are the foundation of godly leadership. Then, the fourth part of the chapter covers David gives Solomon the temple plans. Okay, David hands Solomon the detailed blueprints, the design for the temple, its rooms, storerooms, treasures, and all the utensils. He also gives him his plan for the divisions of the priests and Levites, the weight of gold and silver for every article, instructions for the cherubim over the ark. All this, David says, I have in writing from the hand of the Lord upon me. David didn't just dream it. God revealed the plans. The temple's design was divinely inspired, not human architecture. So the fifth part of the chapter covers David's final encouragement. David ends with strength and clarity. Be strong and courage and do the work. The Lord God will not fail or forsake you until all the work is finished. He reminds Solomon the priests, Levites, craftsmen, and officials are all ready to help. Leadership is not done alone. God surrounds his chosen with people to help accomplish his will. So what are the key lessons from 1 Chronicles chapter 28? The first lesson is not every God desire is your mission. David's heart was right, but God have the task to Solomon. Timing and calling belong to God. Second lesson, faithfulness matters more than ambition. God's promises endure only through obedience. Third lesson, God gives specific plans. The temple design came from the divine revelation. Obedience includes following God's detailed instructions. Fourth lesson, courage and teamwork complete God's work. Solomon was not alone. Faith and unity made the vision possible. In summary, the first Chronicles chapter 28, David gathers all Israel to pass the torch to Solomon. He reveals God's command that Solomon will build a temple and hands him the divinely inspired plans. With courage, faith, and support from Israel leaders, Solomon is called to fulfill what David began in his heart, right?